And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Hello, I'm National Weather Service Meteorologist John Cowen with your Alaska Aviation Forecast. We'll start off taking a look at flying weather across the state for Saturday morning. As you can see, most of the state's looking absolutely beautiful. VFR conditions. We do have a couple areas of IFR though over the northeastern portion of the state, generally from the Brooks Range north up to Dead Horse and the Beaufort Coast. Some lingering areas of IFR in this area. Same story over the western and central Aleutians and Bering Sea. That'll be lingering into Saturday afternoon. Very little change in that area. Again, mainland Alaska under the influence of high pressure and VFR weather expected. Still some lingering IFR across portions of the Beaufort Coast, but we do see some improvement by Saturday afternoon. And then getting into Sunday morning, we have an area of IFR that'll be moving up into the Panhandle. A fairly substantial storm be bringing lots of precipitation into the Panhandle area. And then getting into Sunday afternoon, that area of IFR does continue to creep northwards over the northern Gulf. Still some improvement across the North Slope, a few lingering areas of marginal conditions, but again, mainland Alaska looking absolutely beautiful. Some areas of IFR also starting to pop up in the southeastern Bering Sea by Sunday afternoon. Taking a look at our passes, Anaktuvik Pass looking VFR for Saturday. We do have, again, some areas of marginal conditions expected across the North Slope in that area. Same story for Adigan Pass, marginal on the north side or northern entrance there. Coming down to the Alaska Range, Lake Clark and Merrill Passes both expected to be VFR all day. Same story for Rainy Pass. And then getting into Windy Pass, we'll start off the day in marginal territory. We do have a weak front that'll be moving through the area, bringing some snow showers. But by the late afternoon, we do expect prevailing conditions to be VFR. Same story for Isabel Pass, trending towards VFR in the afternoon. Mentasta Pass, looking at VFR conditions all day there. Same story for Tanita Pass, VFR all day. Portage Pass, VFR, but again, over the eastern entrance, we do expect some marginal conditions to be lingering in that area with the weak front that'll be moving through the area. And then over the northern Panhandle, Chilkoot and White Passes, both under the influence of high pressure, expecting VFR all day for those areas. Taking a look at our freezing levels, most of mainland Alaska will have surface temperatures below freezing. However, as you can see over the Bering Sea, we do have some extra freezing levels above the surface, and that overlap is because we do have some warm air above the surface. So even though temperatures are pretty cool at surface level, we will have some warmer air that extends upwards to 4,000 feet across much of the central Bering Sea. And then as we come towards the southern parts of the Panhandle, freezing levels do start to increase to around 2,000 feet again as we have that system that's going to be moving up across the eastern Gulf of Alaska. And then with our icing, again, our system down here will be bringing some moderate icing to the area. Above 6,000 feet is what we're expecting. Again, this is going to be creeping north late Saturday into Sunday. Over portions of the eastern interior, surface to about 6,000 feet for some isolated areas of icing, but temperatures will be pretty cold across this area, so the threat there is pretty minimal. And then over the western Aleutians, above 4,000 feet is what we're looking at for isolated areas of moderate ice. Taking a look at our jet stream, we do have a pretty strong area of winds over at jet stream level across western Alaska, up to about 85 knots. Across that area, and then over southeastern Alaska, we do have a core of some pretty strong winds at jet stream level, about 105 knots over portions of the southern Panhandle. Coming down to about 9,000 feet, we have some stronger winds over western Alaska, again pushing between 45 to 55 knots across most of that area at 9,000 feet. Portions of the southern Panhandle do have some stronger winds, 35 to 40 knots, but pretty low in that area. And then over the western Bering, 45 to 50 knots out of the southeast. And then finally coming down to 3,000 feet, you can see we do have some pretty strong low-level winds across much of mainland Alaska. That's a drainage wind, so very cold air be moving southwest across mainland Alaska, bringing winds up to about 30 to 45 knots for a good chunk of the western portion of the state. Over the central Aleutians, winds generally 40 to 50 knots across that area out of the east. And then finally looking at turbulence, again with that drainage flow, we do expect to see some low-level turbulence. So surface up to about 4,000 feet for most areas for some occasional moderate turbulence. And then over the eastern Aleutians, surface to about 4,000 feet again, coming down to about 3,000 feet for some isolated areas of turbulence over the central Aleutians. And that'll wrap up our aviation forecast. I'm meteorologist John Cowen.